Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm a non-Jew like you. Hi there, Matt McEwen here with you again on another edition of Non-Jew Like You, where we dig into the Jewish foundation of the Christian faith and see what it is that first century Judaism has to teach us as 21st century Gentile Christians today. Today I want to get into a little bit about figures of speech. And the one in particular happens in the book of John, chapter 1. And we see at about verse 43. And the figure of speech that we're going to look at is sitting under the fig tree. Jesus has called some of his disciples, and we need to make a distinction. Jesus had many disciples, but he had 12 apostles. The word disciple simply means in English to be a learner, to be someone who is learning after the teaching of someone. To be an apostle is more like the Jewish counterpart word, the Hebrew word shaliach, which is one that is sent out on a mission. And mostly this has to do in legal terms. We see the servant being sent out to find a bride for the son in the Hebrew Scriptures in the Old Testament. But in John 1, we want to look at this figure of speech when Jesus is not only calling disciples, but we see as he's calling some of the ones that are going to end up being part of the 12 apostles, the 12 special ones that he calls out as a separate group to be close to him all the time. And we see that Philip is called, and Philip gets his friend Nathaniel, and he says, come and see the one. We found the one that Moses and the prophets wrote about. We have found, and essentially what he was saying is we found the Messiah. And so he brings his friend Nathaniel along. When he finds out that Jesus is from Nazareth, there's this famous saying about, can anything good come from Nazareth? So he says, come and see. When Nathaniel is approaching, let me just read from the scripture here. Nathanael said to him, can anything good come out of Nazareth? Philip said to him, come out and see. Jesus saw Nathanael coming toward him and said, behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom there is no deceit. This is a true Israelite. This is a true son of Israel. This is a true Jew. And Nathanael says to him, how do you know me? But Jesus answered, before Philip called you, when you were under the fig tree, I saw you. And at this revelation, Nathanael answers him, Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel. Now, what does seeing him sit under a fig tree have to do with this revelation that he is the Son of God, the King of Israel? I will tell you that we need to dig into figures of speech. You see, sitting under the fig tree is a common euphemism in Judaism for studying Torah. Now, I never knew that. I didn't know that until I read Torah Club Volume 4 from First Fruits of Zion, Chronicles of the Messiah. The scholarship was done by D. Thomas Lancaster, and a lot of his teaching is based on the commentary written in Hebrew by Rabbi Yehiel Tzvi Lichtenstein, who wrote a commentary on the New Testament. So for Daniel Lancaster and Rabbi Lichtenstein, they have a lot to say about figures of speech like this. If this is a common phrase that means studying the Torah, then we get a whole different picture. It's not like in the movies where Nathanael is reclining under a shady tree and Jesus happens to see him supernaturally somehow. I saw you where you're under the fig tree. It's entirely possible that this common phrase for studying the Torah is what's being used here by Jesus in this passage. So what can we glean from this? Why is he called a true Israelite? Why is he called a true son of Israel? Well, because he's studying Torah, and that's what true sons of Israel do. So if he's studying the Torah, so to speak, and it's not like he would have had his own scroll. I mean, it's not like that. He would have been mulling over in his mind, maybe perhaps studying with other people. He would have memorized passages of the Torah. So if he's sitting under the fig tree, meaning that he's studying Torah, I wonder what he was reading. It would be fun to play a little game here and say, is it possible that he's reading a passage or that he's going over in his mind stuff that he's memorized that could have messianic implications? Is that why when Jesus says to him, I saw you when you were under the fig tree, that's how I know that you're a true son of Israel? Is this why Nathanael has this incredible reaction? We don't know, but it's interesting to think about. One thing I do know is that sitting under the fig tree doesn't have to mean he was literally sitting under a tree. And that's something that I didn't know before I dug into the Jewish foundation of the Christian faith. There are many figures of speech that we have in the New Testament that we just accept because we've heard them ever since we grew up in church. But they have a deeper meaning to us if we look at them in their original context. And that's what this video series is all about. Thank you for being with me today. If you'd like to email me, my email address was at the front part of this video. Once again, I am Matt McEwen, and I'm a non-Jew like you. Thanks for watching.